The H&K 416A5 is one of the most devastating weapons inside of Escape from Tarkov. On its own, it's already a beast, but with a little bit of modification, you can turn this thing into the Chad machine. Let's start with the barrel. You're going to want to throw the 20-inch on this baby. You know what they say, size matters. You don't have many choices when it comes to buffer tubes, so stick with the enhanced tube. Now when it comes to your actual stock, you have a plethora of options. You can either go with the Pro Gen for absolute recoil control, or the GL Shock for a little bit of extra ergo. I recommend to go with the MOE with the rubber butt pad. This option will give you a good balance of ergo and recoil. Now when we move on to pistol grips, you really only have two options, and that's the Growl S or the high ergo pistol grip. The pistol grips are essentially the same, so it's really down to you to choose your poison. Moving on to your charge handles, you really only have two options, and that's the Raptor charge handle or the Avalanche. I think the Avalanche looks badass. At first glance, you may think that the CRUX is the best handguard, but you actually want to go with the old school key mod handguard. When you're choosing iron sights, you may not think it's that big of a deal, but when we really get in the nitty gritty of it, the Chris Defiance iron sights are actually the best. This is because they give you the ergo buff and are also the lightest when it comes down to iron sights. Now, iron sights in general are something that a lot of people don't even run, and they'll usually just throw a sight on top of the receiver so they can get a nice clear view down the handguard. But I actually recommend running two iron sights, the front and the rear, and then throwing a Picatinny riser on the receiver and throwing a PK06, or another sight that has no ergo nerf, such as the aim point, but I prefer the PK06. It'll deduct one ergo to have the Picatinny riser on, but it'll still give you one ergo more than if you were not to run iron sights at all. So I definitely recommend doing this over not running iron sights. And if you're into running cantids, you can also do that with this firearm and it'll still work effectively. If you do decide to run a canted main sight, I definitely recommend running the B25U RK14 grip. When it comes to putting a foregrip on this weapon, you're going to want to run one of the 6-inch guides. It does not matter which one, statistically they are the same. When it comes down to choosing your grip, I recommend the Hura Arms CQR. If you plan on running a laser on this thing, I recommend putting the 2-inch rail guide as it has the best ergonomics. And if you're not really sure what laser to throw on, I definitely recommend the D-Ball as it has a bunch of options inside of it. When it comes down to choosing your muzzle brake, you have a lot of options, and there's a lot of reliable ones such as the Surefire or the Wave, but I definitely recommend going with the Blackout muzzle brake with the SDN6 suppressor on top. But I know recently it's been kind of hard to get your hands on these suppressors as they're usually bought out from Peacekeeper and a tremendous amount of money on flea market. When it comes down to choosing your magazine, I definitely recommend running one of the 60s, whether that's the Magpul or the Stang. I think they're both really great magazines. When it comes down to building this thing, it's really not all that expensive. It's going to cost you less than 300,000 rubles. Even if you were going to buy the gun, you got to sell all the attachments from it again, and it's really not all that bad of a deal if I'm being honest. But this build's pretty simplistic as the HK doesn't have much to modify. I'll leave you with a little bit of gameplay inside of the hideout showing you what the ADS speed, recoil control, and hipfire spread with the laser looks like. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button down below. If you're looking forward to another video, please subscribe. If you have any recommendations regarding the build or my videos, please go to the comments down below and let me know. I'm excited to hear what you guys think.